I just want a bag, like an old lady. I'm smoking, I don't own papers, pass that 808. That shit a dome shaker. Oh, bitch, you know I'm grinding like a pro skater. Baby mama bugging, I'm so quick to hit ignore. Buku bitches in my bed, I got skills all on my back. Got money on the line, plus I'm clocking that galore. I got bitches kissing bitches, so them bitches go explore. I'm feeling way up, well fuck it, I stay up. Put your bitch on my Snapchat, while I fuck up I make her. She want a chance with me, cause she know I'm a rapper. I give a dick, but I never get feelings, cause shawty, I know what you after. They watching me, they watching me, they watching me. They watching me, they watching me, they watching me. They watching me, they watching me, they watching me. They watching me, they watching me, they watching me.
And welcome to Honors Radio now, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize about the technical difficulties we did have, but we are locked and loaded and just about ready to pull that trigger.
I'm jugging. Dissect your hand if your hand in my put two in your man if your man keep a looking. Act like a pussy, your panties get tookin'. I'm not the type to go fuck with them niggas who fuck with them niggas who stay on some fuck shit. Young and trapping out the bando, from the ceiling fan to the damn floor, trying to stack my money up, cause that's the only way we can go. Tell my mama that I'm okay, see the money coming through the doorway. Got a bad bitch with a lot of money, that's foreplay. Okay, they watching me, they watching me, they watching me. They watching me, they watching me, they watching me. They watching me, they watching me, they watching me. They watching me, they watching me, they watching me.
Yeah, I'm really that too. Packets in my pocket like, yeah, I'm doing that too. I don't mean to act rude, nose full of blown sand, cleaning up my act soon. Yeah, I'm really that too. Late fees adding up and getting up the tattoo. Think I'm getting fat too. You don't need an ass, just give me something like a rap too. Kanye West, fuck the bad shit. Playing with my gun like I'm shooting at the op shit. Real life, I'm not lit. I know the jewels in my pants when I watched it. Fuck a bitch quicker than a TikTok. Big brain shit, like you know we having big thoughts. Like motherfuck this job, pissed off. This wage ain't enough to live off. I just got high in the bathroom. Boss man, wonder why the fuck I got an attitude. If you gonna share, I'm doing that too. I ain't riding on a really bad dude.
I don't know how I keep myself from falling down. I don't know how I'm still standing on the ground. I don't know why you keep wishing for me to change. I don't know how I keep myself from falling down. I don't know how I'm still standing on the ground. I don't know why you keep wishing for me to change. Everybody want me to change. Everybody want me to
Boom, 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 boom.
Everybody want me to change.
Boom, 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 boom.
I don't feel like changing who I am.
welcome again to Honors TV News. Now Honors Radio with your host, Dante Smith. We'll be getting started in just a moment. Until then, enjoy some royalty-free music. Let's get this party going.
Moving slowly through the yard, through my mind. I feel you watching through the window as I pass by.
Let's go.
I know life can feel like
Okay.
it's in rewind.
And thank you again for tuning in to Honors Radio on this Motivational Monday with your host, Dante Smith, where we are serving up the nation's top news. Yes, the nation's top news now 3 days a week from Podbean Live. So do me a favor, sit back, relax, as we serve up the nation's top stories to keep you informed on your drive, at home, or just, simply on the go. From our nation's top stories down to our topic of the day, we're going to cover absolutely it all. Remember, join me three days a week now live from Podbean, and don't forget to share and subscribe and let everyone know Honors Radio is live. Welcome to co-host Emmy J to our Motivational Monday edition. How are you doing today, Emmy J?
Doing good.
I see her connected. She may just be busy. We'll get back to her later. Don't worry about that. As usual.
I'm here.
Oh, she is there. Hey, speak of the angel. Emmy J, how you doing today?
Fantastic. Just down here working hard, hardly working.
Oh, I'm sure it's the latter. As always, we do have our topic of the day, quote of the day, and that is by Steve Maraboli. He said, "Hey, I promise you nothing is as chaotic as it seems. Nothing is worth diminishing your health, and nothing is worth poisoning yourself into stress, anxiety, and fear." We will definitely get to that and find out exactly what that means. Let's do some quick housekeeping if we possibly can. Again, do me a favor, subscribe and share to Honors Radio on Podbean. Today again is Motivational Monday, so we are kicking the motivational facts. So we are also taking call-ins today as usual. There's nothing different about today. We are taking call-ins, so if you are interested in calling in and shooting your opinion and your thoughts on a particular story, please hit that call in button and we'd love to hear what you have to say. Well, enough is enough with all that mushy and housekeeping nonsense. Let's get down to national news. Now, lawmakers in more than 20 states have considered bills this year to make disciplinary records of police officers public or to share them, at least share them with other agencies. Now, about 20 states still largely prohibit their release. Supporters say it could help improve police accountability, which, build trust with the community, which, and prevent officers with disciplinary problems who leave one department and being hired at another. Now, opponents say that the release of such records could harm the reputation of the officers with only minor infractions or even put them in danger. I say phooey. At least 16 states have contemplated measures to release such records or summaries of them, at least publicly. Now, I think it's a valuable step in the direction of trust to be providing that type of information, period. Now, in North Carolina's Republican-controlled legislature, lawmakers want to create confidential database, a simple confidential database from which law enforcement agencies in the state can track all disciplinary actions to prevent officers from hiding past problems when looking for a new job, which is obviously the case with a lot of these officers because they've had previous misconduct issues and disciplinary issues at other precincts, other states, other cities, and they're just not communicating. So the next department is unaware of the lackluster or the horrendous behavior, I would say, of that particular officer, which is a shame. So I do hope they get this going in the right direction. Now, this is again a great opportunity to show some goodwill to the people. Having these records available to review is a specific idea that can literally lead to prevention breaks. Literally. Now, these law changes mean officers they're going to be held accountable finally for their actions in the past, and they can't just move on and go to another city and go to another state and just same job, just different day. We don't want those type of officers. We want to make sure that those type of officers have some type of paperwork that is following them. And then if and only then if that next department is making a bad judgment decision when they're reasonably have been given the information, then we know that department is lacking, and they definitely need to be looked at. And there's some definitely concerns after that point. Now, our duty isn't to make the officer's career easier to operate. We all know that. I don't care about the officer's reputation. I don't think anybody does. And the information that would be presented would only serve as a warning and reminder to those particular officers who in the end shouldn't even be wearing a badge, if I'm speaking frankly. Now, in other news, good old Apple. They're in the news now. Apple faces one of its most serious legal threats in recent years. Now, a trial that threatens to tip over its iron control over their good old App Store, which brings in billions of dollars a year, which obviously feeding more than 1.6 billion iPhones, iPads, and other devices is making a killing. The federal court case is being brought by Epic Games, the maker of the popular video game Fortnite. And Fortnite happens to be a favorite of my son. So that's how I know a little bit about Fortnite. Now, Epic wants to topple the so-called walled garden of the App Store, which Apple started building 13 years ago as part of a strategy masterminded by the co-founder, Steve Jobs. Now, for those of you who don't know what a walled garden is, like I didn't, I had to actually look it up because it made no sense to me. A walled garden is an enclosed environment that controls the end user's access to certain websites and services. Basically, what it is it restricts access to the internet, to a particular part of the internet. Now, that's what Apple has established within their App Store. Now, Epic charges that Apple has transformed a once tiny digital storefront into an illegal monopoly that squeezes mobile apps for a significant slice of their earnings. Now, Apple takes commission at 15 to 30% on purchases made within the apps, including everything from digital items and games to subscriptions. So they're making an absolute killing. Apple's successful formula has helped turn the iPhone maker into one of the world's most profitable companies. One with market value that I believe it tops $2.2 trillion. So you talk about some money, that's some money right there. That's some value. Privately held Epic, which is very small in comparison, is worth an estimated 30 billion. But they're wanting just an alternative to the App Store that Apple has provided. Now, makes total sense to have an alternative, but not for Apple. That doesn't make sense for them. Now, I would understand that as Apple as well. Now, the North Carolina company also wants to break free of Apple's commissions, which are obviously staggering at 15 to 30%. That's a pretty big commission structure there. Now, Epic says it's forked over hundreds of millions of dollars to Apple before it expelled Fortnite from its App Store last August, after Epic added a payment system that bypassed Apple. So basically, they're doing the old adage or the old trick McDonald's does with their milkshake machine. Use the milkshake, a milkshake brand, keep the milkshake brand in-house, so all of the money is filtered or funneled through the same company, just different names. If you do some research, you'll find that information out yourself. This is why their ice cream machine is always broken, because their techs technically are specialist for McDonald's. But that's just some information that I did some research on. You can do your own research. Google it if you like. Anyway, Apple is turning into that, is what Epic is saying now. Both Apple CEO Tim Cook and Epic CEO Tim Sweeney will testify in good old Oakland, California, in the federal courtroom. Neither side wanted to any kind of jury trial, leaving the decision mainly just in the hand of the U.S. District Judge Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers. Now, who seems to know her ruling. She's saying it will probably be appealed. Obviously, we know the stakes are high, so that's definitely a reason for why her decision will be appealed. Epic contends that iPhone has become so ingrained in society that the device and its ecosystem have turned into a monopoly Apple can exploit to unfairly enrich itself and prevent competition. Very interesting story. I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm pretty sure Apple's going to win this particular lawsuit. You can they're able to they can monopolize all they want within their own system. I don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. I wouldn't want to utilize any other foreign payment system on my system on my in my technology or software either. So hopefully the courts do side with them. We will keep you updated on that Apple story. Next up in national news, we're just going to jump through this so fast today. It seems financial impacts have come down harder on some less advantaged groups, as well as I mean, we all know that, right? That's not anything new. Right now, Americans are more apt to say their families' finances have gotten worse rather than better in the coronavirus pandemic. I mean, there's not a lot of people whose finances did get better, and those impacts have a carry-on influence, a carry-on influence on personal relationships. Welcome to the studio, DW Designs to Sell. We do appreciate you joining us today at Honors Radio. Now, 22% in this ABC News Washington Post poll say their families' finances have worsened since the pandemic began, while 14% have seen financial gains. That's not a lot, but that is, I mean, 14% is a lot, I guess, in a pandemic. The rest reports no change at all. So some people, they remain the same. And hey, if you can remain the same, that's God's working. Okay. Now, 1 in 5 also reports weaker relationships with family and friends. And the stress of finances is obviously enough to drive a person mad. Now, people with worse finances are more apt also to say their personal relationships have gotten weaker rather than stronger by 29%. Now, an opposite result, those who report better finances say by 29% that their relationships are stronger. So the better the finances, the easier life is, the less stress you have throughout your life and your day-to-day life, which equates obviously to better relationships with individuals within your life. Makes total sense to me. The statistics and the survey doesn't tell me anything new, honestly. And in the statistical analysis known as regression, having worse finances independently predicts having weaker personal relationships. Sorry about that. Now, the survey produced for ABC News by Langer, Research Associates, also finds the economic impacts have landed disproportionately, which we all knew, right? The effects of the pandemic affected certain communities a lot more than it affected others. I mean, it's obvious. Now, 31% of people with annual household incomes less than 50,000 report worse finances compared with pre-pandemic times, as do 30% of Hispanics, 27% of rural residents, 25% of women, and 24% of those who don't hold a college degree. Now, this pandemic has made life obviously even more difficult for families. Money doesn't obviously grow on trees. Jobs were obviously extremely scarce. Now, the story falls in line, of course, with our topic of stress for the day, which these difficult times cause major stress within a relationship and within a family unit. The added pressure of bills needed to be paid and the limited options to pay them can drain any I mean, any situation. And welcome to the studio, Blockchain DXB. We do appreciate you joining Honors Radio for our nation's top news. Next up, we have, that's right. Oh, yes. Oh, it is the time. Well, we got through our national news, people, real quick. It was not too much to it, but let's jump into Let's Wrap. That's right. It's that part of the time. That's that part of the show, excuse me, when we throw out rapid fire topics and discuss that nonsense that has hit the news. But before we get to that, and before we get to rapping, we'll be right back with Honors Radio and your host, Dante Smith.
On today's Daily Roundup Product Spotlight, Chill Extreme Delta 8 Gummies. With Chill Extreme Delta 8 Gummies, the party is about to go down. Thanks to Chill Extreme Delta 8 Gummies, grab the lampshade, close the windows, and turn up the music because Chill Extreme High Dose Delta 8 Gummies are sure to get the party started. You'll experience an extreme buzz that will bring the house down thanks to this all-new world-class cannabinoid with a psychotropic high that's completely legal. Chill Extreme has isolated and extracted the Delta 8 THC, creating a Delta 8 gummy so extreme they shouldn't even be legal, but they are. Feel the buzz of a legal high as Chill Extreme Delta 8 gummies offer an extreme but enjoyable psychotropic high not unlike its big cousin Delta 9. Get your Chill Extreme Delta 8 gummies today and experience the buzz before the authorities try to kill it. For your bottle of a Chill Extreme Delta 8 gummies, click the link in the description and use the promo code HONOR for 65% off.
We are back with Honors Radio and your host, Dante Smith, and co-host, Emmy J. It's time to rap. That's right. Again, it's that part of the show when we throw out rapid fire topics and discuss the nonsense that has hit the news. Now, Emmy J, I was looking at this story in Florida, and the Florida elementary school principal was caught paddling a 6-year-old girl in a viral video secretly filmed by the student's mother. Now, this which is funny because which is not funny. It's unfortunate, but it is the law in Florida. Corporal punishment is allowed in the state of Florida. The blows reportedly were intended as punishment for $50 in damage to a computer. Now,
wait, one sec. Did you say the mother of the child videotaped it?
Absolutely. The mother of the child did videotape it.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Now, Melissa Carter, the principal of Central Elementary School in, I hope I'm saying this right, Clewiston, hit the whimpering child at least 3 times on the rear with a wooden paddle. Now, she said that now the video said that she secretly filmed. I'm concerned that she's just sat there and allowed her child to get spanked. I'm assuming she was trying to get some kind of proof into what was really going on at the school. Hopefully, the ends. What is it? The ends. What is the saying? I know you, Emmy J. What's the saying? Did you remember?
What?
The ends. Oh my Lord!
Because I'm old, you're asking me now?
No, it's because you weren't listening. The ends justify the means. There we go. The ends justify the means in this case. And yes, and yes, DW Designs. I did not know that either. But in the state of Florida, it absolutely is. But the specifics to it is, and the reason why it's becoming important. And welcome, Rayhana, to the studio. We do appreciate you joining Honors Radio. Now, corporal punishment is legal in the state of Florida, but not within this particular county. So that's where it's coming into play, is the fact that she was doing this. The principal was committing these acts within a geographic area that was against the law. At that, this particular act was against the law. Now, corporal punishment obviously is an unfortunate rule of law that needs to be reviewed. I'm not seeing why any state would still allow any adult other than the parent to be putting hands on any of the students. It just becomes a it becomes a hellstorm. I don't see how that. I don't know how I would take it. How would you take it, MJ?
Well, right. And well, my thought is, how, as a parent, are you able to secretly videotape that and not stop it or not say something or intervene? I couldn't sit there and just videotape someone spanking my child.
Yeah, it's a little strange to sit there and watch someone spanking your child. I'm not sure if I would have enough I would have enough resistance or enough
Exactly.
enough restraint in myself to not engage with that individual that's doing this the paddling. DW Designs has a comment in the studio saying back in the day in junior high this was allowed in California. Yeah, back in the day I could see that definitely being something that was allowed, and I do remember hearing a lot of that. And you said you were a recipient of the paddle. That's an unfortunate. I'm sure you wouldn't know exactly how. I'm sure you couldn't describe how that felt now, but the parent had to have. Oh, your parent had to sign off on that. Okay, well, I mean that makes sense. See, I mean that I understand. If you're getting a parent's permission to do these to spank or to paddle for behavioral issues, makes total sense. But if you're just paddling and you're just doing it because you're upset or you're doing it because you had a bad day, that's a problem. That's a
I'm
problem. I
also
don't want anybody
concerned.
touching my kid. Period.
Yeah, I'm also concerned with how severe is the act have to be to warrant a paddle? Is there did they try to do other methods before they went to that, or
That's a good question. It didn't say at all in the article. I'd love to
mm,
find that information out. I just know the punishment didn't justify the act didn't justify the punishment. Because the $50 in damage to a computer is something that a parent could obviously pay for and reimburse the school. There's no need to spank the child or further traumatize the child.
I'm
they
sure
may,
this parent
may have
can
just
now
made a
really
mistake.
afford it since they made that video. I'm sure that they're intending to seek legal action.
But absolutely, I mean, there's always a money aspect coming behind it, um, which is again why people record things. Gives them just due to go into court and show exactly why they deserve that money, and usually they get it. And next up, police were called to a Nova Scotia restaurant on a report of a COVID-19 lockdown violation, only to discover the alleged illegal customer seated at the table was actually a mannequin. Idiots. Now, Mike Cormer, the owner of Ardmore Tea Room in Halifax, said police visited his eatery Thursday morning after some some ignorant individual, my apologies, some ignorant individual called to report someone was dining indoors at his facility in violation of the shutdown order. So, people, mind your business. Another case of people just not minding their own business and wasting law enforcement's time. Now, how often do you see this happen where people just don't mind their own business and you're wasting time? You're wasting people's time. You are so paranoid and you're so worried about what other people are doing that you're not even looking at details. Absolutely. And I hate using the word Karen, but Karen, come on now. I mean,
But we all know what that means when you say that.
come on now. I mean, you can't tell a mannequin from a from a actual human. I
And now
got
they're
you.
a laughing stock.
I got you. Makes total sense. Not really. Anyway, the next foolish story that I came across was interesting here. Now, the waste collection truck crew and workers at a North Carolina landfill came to the rescue of a woman who realized she had lost some very expensive rings and she'd accidentally thrown them in the trash. Now, Chuck and Pam Smith, who recently relocated to New Hanover County, said Pam was cleaning the house recently and she just realized some of her rings were missing. Her husband flagged down the actual recycling waste service truck only to find out that they've already collected about 25 other houses at this point. So they're going to have to take it to the landfill, and they're going to have to dig through the garbage in order to find this stuff. Luckily, and I don't know how happy I would be or how willing I would be, the workers at the landfill decided to help in the search for the rings, taking several hours to go through disgusting, nasty, funky garbage
Ugh.
to locate these rings. What now? My question is, would you go digging through a landfill for some rings that you threw away on accident?
Depends on how valuable are we talking. It's got to have a high dollar amount to warrant. I mean, we're not talking about just digging through a trash bag. You're talking about going to the landfill.
You're talking about digging through some disgusting, pretty nasty stuff there. And yes, they did find them, like, again, after several hours of searching. So if you and your hubby and and the landfill workers want to go into the nasty disgustingness to get those rings, and no, I don't know, it did not unfortunately say what the value of those rings were.
Wait, are you saying you wouldn't
have
help me if I if I threw away my ring? You wouldn't go looking through the landfill with me?
Anyway.
I'll take that as a no.
Yes,
well, it looks like DW would help.
Yeah, you can insure the ring, but I mean, we can always replace. Well, unless it was like like a family heirloom or something like that.
Yeah,
that may be something that is irreplaceable. So you might have to make moves in order to make your significant other happy. Sentimental value. Exactly. DW Designs. Exactly. Sentimental value. Now that's it for our last wrap. We try to get through that pretty quick. Up next, we got the topic of the day. Oh, I love this. It's the topic of the day. But before we get to that, let's take a quick break and pay some bills. We'll be right back with Honors Radio and your host, Dante Smith, and our amazing co-host, Emmy J.
Legacy Learning Systems Learn and Master. In the world of cheap, overhyped, learn this overnight instructional videos, Legacy nails it at every angle. Founded to produce truly comprehensive multimedia training courses for those who want serious instruction in the comfort of their homes, Legacy believes that learning should be fun, unintimidating, and systematic, with each new skill building on the previous one. Nearly all of us have that one thing we've always wanted to learn, maybe to sing, to dance, or even to play an instrument. Whatever it is, we all have something we wish we could do. A personal dream to even conquer. Well, Legacy Learning System now has learnandmaster.com, where their mission is to make difficult skills accessible through multimedia self-education courses and to bring your personal dreams within reach. Success starts with the first lesson laid out in the easy-to-follow step-by-step progression with everything you need in one place. Gone are the times you need to buy countless training videos from a patchwork of sources. Perhaps most importantly, you won't have to learn alone, as their online support community is an integral part of the learning process and free for all of their students. To get started on your Learn and Master lesson, click the link in the description to get started. Credit firm, credit repair law firm. What's your goal?
And I apologize about that. Looks like I had some system. Yes. It's time for our topic of the day. And our topic of the day it's simple, ladies and gentlemen. Personal stress in relationships. Is it implied that you need to take on your partner's personal stress? Let me repeat that one more time. Personal stress in relationships. Is it implied that you need to take on your partner's personal stress? And when does that line get crossed? Or can it even be crossed? Or are we saying, for the sake of relationships, Stress has no bounds, and we should always take on our partner's stress. Now, what I think is, I honestly believe there is a boundary which needs to be placed to keep your mind sane. Taking on other stress only causes more stress for you as an individual. I can remember times taking on my partner's stress with her job, and it felt literally like I was a part of the drama at work. And instinctively, I want to do all I can to ease her burden. I mean, as we all should, right? Even at the cost of myself and my heart and how I was feeling. And even when I realized it's her job to deal with the stress, not mine's. And even if I wanted to, I couldn't do anything about her frustration. Now, I found myself even at times getting upset with her because she was not handling it how I was handling it in my own head. Now, how many times do we catch ourselves judging our partners for not handling a situation how you would have in a stressful situation, not realizing at the time everyone can act in their own way. Now, what do you guys think? Uh, MEJ, what's your take on this?
Sorry, I'm here. I was
I
uh
don't hear you. Oh, there you go.
oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly now. You're good to go.
Thank you for checking. Um, so I understand. I can see I've been in situations before where I've had to I'm one of those people that if I keep things inside, it starts to eat away at me. So I know for my mental health, I need to I guess share my not necessarily my stress, but to get it out, to say what's bothering me. Not with the intention that I want someone to take it on, but just because I want to rid myself of that release of the stress. But if you have a partner who is someone who tends to take on your stress, you need to be mindful of what you share and what you learn to deal with on your own. And that's something that I had to learn, that I can't always dump everything on my partner because I see that it's affecting him in a certain way. Like he wants me to be able to handle it and deal with it in a certain way, and I'm not necessarily think that's the best way. So I've learned to be careful with that and not be upset that I can't share everything. Not everything needs to be shared. Some things
Right.
you can keep to yourself, or if you see it negatively affecting your partner, learn to or find a friend or maybe share part of that. Share part of your stress with your partner and some with your best friend, some with your family members. So that way you get it out, but that way your partner's not taking all of your burden on.
Right. And we all know that's not an easy conversation to have with your partner. Saying that you don't want to take on a certain or you can't take on a certain stress or anything like that. That's a difficult conversation to have. And I see you, DW Designs. I'm sorry about that. Let me go ahead and see if I can get you pulled back in here. I did go ahead and send you an invite. Go ahead and just accept that invite and join the studio audience. And welcome,
Hello.
DW Designs. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing okay. I just wanted to chime in on it, and Amy J did hit on it. A very good example of what I went through when I shared, my stress with issues on the job. It's good sometimes that you can talk to your partner and share what's going on, in your life that's very stressful. But it's also important for the other partner not to just take on that stress, but just help you guide through that stress. And so, no. And so, with that said and done, the example I have, if I have time to share, is and do I have a little time, sir?
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
I had an issue. This is years ago with a peer that was a male and was harassing me on the job, and I took just about
Oh,
as much as I could on the job, you know, mentally doing things that just bothered me on the job and began to impact my performance. So I shared that with my husband at the time. Um, him being my partner, of course, emotionally he was engaged immediately after he found out what was happening. So
right.
he took it upon himself to come up to my job and handle the situation.
I'm sure that didn't
What
help.
happened? Exactly. So that became more stressful because, of course, it ended me up in my boss office discussing the situation. So that's just one of the examples, as Emmy J said. You can't share everything with your partner because they do get emotionally involved in what's going on. They don't want to see their partner stress out under any circumstance, and then they may take it on upon themselves to try to fix the problem instead of just listening to the problem. So that's just my little 2 cents, that you don't share everything, and also you don't jump into trying to fix. Sometimes it's just stress, sitting and listening and helping them through the stress and not
So you're
taking
saying we
on the
should keep
stress.
secrets?
No, 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 no.
You said we don't share everything. I was just
You don't
concerned about that.
you don't keep secrets. You don't keep secrets, but you don't share everything. If it's not going to impact them directly, as far as your partner,
Right.
then try to retain that information. So, and it depends on your partner. Each individual know how the partner is going to react to a situation.
Absolutely.
If something is going on with the partner that it's upsetting them to the point that they're coming home, they're crying, they're worried constantly, and then it becomes an impact on their relationship, then they're going to jump in and try to fix the problem. And sometimes that's not always a good idea. So
I
just being
totally agree with that
be
the
mindful.
superhero complex.
Yeah, be mindful of what you share with your partner. But have someone, another sounding board that you can work with, that you can share that information to. And the important thing is always go to your Lord and Savior, because if nobody else is going to hear it, nobody else is going to listen to it, I bet you He will. So I just wanted to throw that in there. That will
Well,
help you, guide you through that stress.
well, we thank you so much, DW Designs, for kicking in your 2 cents, and we appreciate you, and
Sure.
we look forward to hearing from you again in the near future.
My pleasure. Have a good evening.
You do the same. All right, and with it's important to remember stress obviously is in abundance. You're going to have stress but without the proper conversation with your partner, life can easily get extremely difficult. The key is how you manage it. As we've been saying, it's important for couples to identify and talk about what causes their stresses and what they need when they feel stressed. Although it might be difficult to talk, as I was saying, about what is creating stress, particularly if it's caused by something within the relationship, it is helpful for partners to talk about their needs and for partners to provide some support. Now, my I can remit offhand, my issue would be always I want to jump to my partner's defense. I want to be the superhero. I want to come in and save the day, or at least be the coach that's going to give you the formula to save the day for yourself. And so that's where I lose, a lot of times because I have this, what you call a superhero syndrome,
There
which
you
can be a
go.
good thing. It could be a good thing and a bad thing. A good thing is I'm gonna jump in front of a bus for you. The bad thing is, I might over exaggerate on some work stresses that you may have that you can already handle yourself.
And also, too, sometimes as a male partner to a female, is you feel like instead of taking on and hearing it emotionally, you want to jump in there, like you said, and be the coach. And instead of hearing what the person's saying, you're just reacting to seeing them upset and emotional. If you see your partner, your spouse crying or breaking down from the stress, you want to tell them how to fix it rather than just letting them get it out and listen. So I know sometimes men want to jump in there, especially, and just coach you into how to fix it. And that's not always what works when you just want somebody to listen.
Very true. We all learn step by step.
Yes. And you have been doing a very wonderful job.
We like it, but we don't love it. Okay. Okay, DW Designs.
We like our superheroes.
Right. Now, this, oftentimes people bottle up or keep their stress to themselves, which makes it difficult for their partners to understand what they are going through, which is another issue that I definitely work through and struggle through with myself. Um, and their partners trying to understand and try to provide support for them because they don't know how to do that because you're not communicating with them how and what needs to happen for you. Which happens to be an issue, like I said, of mine personally, which tends to cause confusion and unrealistic diagnosis from my partner, because she always thinks I'm upset or something. Because they're guessing all the time. So the main point is, when it comes to stress and when it comes to anything that is affecting, that could possibly affect your relationship, it's always good to communicate. That's always going to be the number one goal. And I would say in a successful relationship, marriage, is making sure you're communicating. I'm learning that again each and every day, and it's working out in my favor to make sure that I'm communicating with my partner. Because I communicate with her every day now.
You definitely notice a difference when you start to open up, and instead of letting your partner guess. But that also comes with time. It's not something that happens right away, or these are things that you learn about each other. So that's why I always find it almost sad when people give up on each other so quickly, not realizing that once you've taken time to be able to open up, that things do end up being more so than what you could ever have imagined had you given the chance.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes you giving that chance and opening up your heart a little bit and trying to find like a common ground. That was well said.
Down.
There, hey, that guard is always difficult to let down.
Mm-hmm.
When a wall is created, it's definitely a difficult task to get it knocked down. But once it is knocked down and you both understand where each other is coming from, a successful relationship or marriage is definitely going to come out of that. I would look forward to having a lot more relationship conversations and a lot more topics involving relationships, stress, communication, and that type of thing. Our topics of the day will always consist of something to do with relationships and how to build a more successful and happier relationship within your marriage or within your fiancé-ship.
What do you call that? When you're not dating, but
I just met. Well, you're not my lady friend no more. You went from lady.
I know, right? I did. I first got introduced at a family gathering as this is Dante's lady friend, and then
that's
what was it the other day? I was introduced as your fiance, so that was a nice. Only 4.5 years.
You got to work your way up. There's a process in this. There's an application process and whatnot.
Right. It's that making sure that person's going to be around before we give you a title. They just know how you are, and they wanted to make sure I was going to be able to put up with you.
It takes a lot. Believe me, I understand. Next,
not
we
as
got.
Hard as you think.
No. Do I have anything for that? Oh, here we go. I'm going to kill this dog over here. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that, people. My pug was trying to destroy my room over here, my studio, which I do not want to happen. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next segment, in our final segment, which is our hemp news. But before we get back to hemp news, my apologies. The dog really threw me off there. Before we get to hemp news, we'll be right back with more Honors Radio and your host, Dante Smith.
Lawrence Taylor's Pain Master CBD Cream, 1,000 milligrams, is the ultimate in post-workout and fitness support skin lotions. With high-quality CBD sourced from industrial hemp, you get natural support in a strong formula intended for those already demanding more. A topical application of CBD LT Pain Master CBD Cream goes to work right on contact. Lawrence Taylor Pain Master CBD Cream will quickly become an essential part of your most grueling workout, fitness, or sports schedule. To grab your bottle, click the link in the description.
Oh no. We know what time it is. Hemp news. We got all the news. Hemp news coming through. Let's do it. And the Texas House of Representatives on Friday, just Friday, approved a bill to decriminalize marijuana possession, sending it to good old the state Senate. In an 88 to 40 vote, the House approved HB 441, which would make possession of up to 1 ounce of cannabis a Class C misdemeanor that does not come with the threat of jail time. Nice improvement. The legislation, sponsored by Representative Aaron Zwiner, would also end the threat of being arrested for low-level possession and give people the opportunity, I say the opportunity, to avoid a conviction by providing for deferrals and dismissals. Now, while decriminalization bills sometimes impose civil penalty on infractions for possession rather than a misdemeanor, this measure generally meets advocates' definition of decriminalization because a Class C misdemeanor does not involve any type of incarceration as a punishment. Instead, people who commit the offense face $500 in fines. Now, the Texas House passed HB 441, which lowers the criminal penalty for possessing small amounts of cannabis and provides a path to expungement. The next step is the state Senate. I'll keep you updated on Texas' next move to marijuana decriminalization. It's a good move. A Maine House committee on Friday discussed a bill to decriminalize possession of all current illicit drugs. Don't agree. People would be able to avoid the penalty if they submit to an evidence-based assessment for looks like for proposed treatment for substance use disorders. Now, the MMA said in written testimonies, opioid addiction is both an epidemic and a public health crisis, every bit as much as an illness as cancer, diabetes, or alcoholism. I totally agree. Now, instead of receiving treatment and support for their illnesses, patients affected by substance use often find themselves treated as criminals instead of patients. By making possession of illegal drugs for personal use a civil infraction rather than a crime, LD 967 is an important step in an effort to take medical control of the opioid epidemic. Now, Maine's current policies around drug use and substance use disorders have severe death measures, with 500 people dying of an overdose in the last year. Now that's all I have for today. It's been a really, really, really great night. It's been a pretty easy night, pretty quick night. And as always,
Disclaimer.
we get through the way we get through. And we appreciate you joining us today here at Honors Radio with your host, Dante Smith. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm having a little technical difficulties here, and it's very frustrating.
Well, I want to add a disclaimer that no dogs were harmed in the taping of this show.
I'm trying to get back on here. I don't know what is going on with my system. It completely froze out on me here. Give me 2 seconds here, people.
I think you should just sing the music.
That's okay. It's there for us. I apologize about that. It's going to be it for us today here in Honors Radio with your host, Dante Smith, and our co-host, Emmy J. We have served up. We have served up our nation's top news on Podbean Live. Remember to comment, share, and subscribe, and help us build Honors Radio from the ground up. And remember, we now have our patrons only section for our listeners who would like to become a part of Honors Radio and Honors Radio family and donate to keep our operation running smoothly and our content fresh and informative. Our patrons level starts at $1 all the way up to $25 each, with its own special features and rewards. To become a patron, just click the Become a Patron button, and hey, voila, you are now a part of the Honors Radio team. I see you on there, Emmy J, doing the audio correct. I see you there. Thanks for helping out in the studio audience again. Join us again Wednesday at 7:30 Central Standard Time as co-host Emmy J joins us again in studio to discuss more of the nation's top news. Don't forget to share and subscribe. Honors Radio. And have a blessed day. And hey, we are out.